another yoga studio. I'm Kat, for those of you who haven't tried one of our videos before, and it's lovely to have everyone on the mat with me today for your Pilates for Runners class. So before we get going, just a couple of things that you might want just to help make things a little bit easier. Sometimes it can be useful to have a nice cushion, or if you have something like a yoga block or anything like that available, something that you can use just to help as a little prop occasionally. And the other thing is some sort of strap. So if you have got a belt, scarf, or like a proper yoga strap, grab that. Otherwise, even something as simple as a tea towel will work just as well. So grab a couple of props if you haven't got things handy, and we will come back together on the mat when you're ready. Okay, all right, so if we've got everything, let's get going. So we're going to start at the back of your mat if you're using a mat, or just the back of your space if you haven't got a mat for today. So we're standing with the feet underneath the hips. Just take a couple of big rolls with the shoulders, taking them all the way up to the ears and relaxing them down. See if you can breathe in as you take the shoulders up, and then breathe out, relax them down the rib cage. So one more time. And then bring your hands onto your ribs. So either just pressing from the front or around to the side, and take 5 big breaths in. And we're just looking to see if we can feel the whole of the rib cage moving under the fingers. Let's take one more breath. And then release your arms down by your side. And we're going to take some little rolls with the neck. So bringing the chin to the chest, breathe out, roll the head to the right. And then as you breathe out, roll it all the way back across the chest, taking it to the left. One more roll to either side. And then roll the head back into the middle. And as you breathe out, keep rolling down then through the spine. We can take a nice big bend in the knees, just trying to let the head and the hands drop towards the floor. Breathe in at the bottom. And then breathe out, squeeze the belly in, tuck the tailbone under, round all the way up. So this is our first Pilates movement. It's called the roll down. Breathe in at the top and roll those shoulders back down the ribs. So breathe out, chin to chest, curl all the way towards the floor. So maybe we don't need quite such a big bend in the knees this time. Breathe in at the bottom. And then breathe out, squeeze the belly in, turn the tailbone under and round all the way up. Come all the way up to the crown of the head. Breath in and then breathe out, chin down, roll back towards the floor. So each time, see if maybe you can take a little less bend in the knees. Doesn't matter if when you find that point that you can't straighten the legs out anymore. We're all working to how the body feels today. So we're doing that one more time. Breathe out. Roll all the way down towards the floor. Take a big breath in.
And then breathe out, little bend in the knees as we squeeze the belly in and tuck the tailbone under, rolling back up through the spine. So roll the shoulders back, clasp the hands behind you and squeeze your shoulders into the middle of the spine. Open out through the front. Big breath in and then breathe out. Let it go. Chin to chest, round all the way down towards the floor. So see how far you can come down without bending your knees. Take a big breath in. Stretch through the backs of the legs, stretch through your hamstrings, and then we're bending the knees and walking the hands out all the way up through the mat. So we're going to take a push-up. Now, if you are confident with your push-ups and you know where you like to go, take it where in your normal push-up position. Otherwise, we've just got the knees underneath the hips. We're breathing out, squeezing the belly in. Breathe in. Elbows come into your side. As you lower to the floor, breathe out, push back up. And then we're going to breathe in, walk the hands back in, lifting the knees up from the floor. You can keep your knees as bent as you need to as you bring your hands back to your feet. And then breathe out, bend the knees, tuck the tailbone under, round all the way up. And that rounding is really important just to give a little stretch out and loosen out through the lower back. Breathe in at the top and take that little squeeze back of the shoulders. Nice way to counterbalance all that hunching we do in our running. Breathe out, release it, chin to chest, roll all the way back down towards the floor. So again, come down as far as you can without bending the knees. Breathe in, and then breathe out, walk the hands all the way back up towards the top of the mat again. So we could try a half plank position this time. If our tabletop position last time felt easy. Breathe in, squeeze the belly in, take the chest towards the floor, breathe out, push up. Breathe in, walk your hands back in towards your feet. Remember, bend your knees as much as you need to. And then breathe out, tuck the tailbone under, round all the way up to standing. Breathe in at the top, arms behind, squeeze the shoulders back, stretch through the front. Breathe out, take the chin down, roll all the way back down towards the floor. Walk the hands out in front. So if you want your full plank position, we make sure we take a little tuck under with the tailbone and squeeze the belly in. Breathe in, lower to the floor. Breathe out, push back up. Breathe in as you walk your hands back towards your feet. Breathe out, little bend in the knees as we protect the back and round it, curling all the way up to standing. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Breathe out, release, chin to chest. We're going to do this 2 more times. Roll towards the floor. Walking the hands out in front. This time, see if you can do more than 1 push-up. We're going to aim for 5. So lower, breathe out, push up. So if you want your knees on the floor, you've got your knees on the floor. Or we're in that tabletop position. Doesn't matter which one. You can have a mixture of all of them if you're still not decided. And then breathe in, walk your hands back in. Breathe out, little bend in the knees, round all the way up, roll the shoulders back, hands behind you, lift the chest. We're doing 1 more set. So chin down, roll all the way towards the floor, curling down to the mat. Breathe in, stretch through the legs. Breathe out, walk your hands out to your push-up position. So remember, you've got tabletop, half plank or pull plank. Pull the belly button into your spine, tuck the tailbone under. Breathe in, elbows to ribs. Breathe out, push up. Having the hands underneath us keeps, well, it means we're working on the triceps. We've got the core working. And these are upper body muscles that we need to help keep our form on our posture strong as we're running. So this time, walk the hands all the way back. We're going to hang forwards. And then, so coming all the way up to standing, just bend the knees and come down towards the floor. And we're going to take our right foot out in front and just come into a little bit of a lunge. We want to make sure we've got the knee over the ankle. Back toes are tucked under, and that's just going to give us a little stretch through the foot at the same time, as well as helping us to push through the foot and into the hips. When you're ready, breathe in, lift the fingers up. Reach the arms back, stretch through your hip flexors. Exhale, release. Inhale, shoulders back, stretching through that left hip flexor. Exhale, release.
So if you find it a little bit tough on your back knee, you can always put a little padding underneath the knee. That could be just folding the mat over, or maybe folding up that little tea towel that we've had. We're going to try for 3 more. Good. Okay. Pull the right leg back in and swap sides. So we're taking the left leg out in front. So again, we've got the back toe tucked under. Gently push through the toes, stretch through the foot, push that right hip forwards. And then when you're ready, breathe in. Squeeze the shoulders back, lift the chest. Breathe out, release. So breathe in, push back with the chest, squeezing the shoulders back, and release. So obviously we've got that lovely stretch going in through the hip flexors, but we're also opening out, working on the chest, working on the muscles around the shoulders. Trying to, again, just think about our posture for when we're running. And if we do have a desk job or something like that, or we spend a lot of time perhaps sitting and bending forwards, it's a nice way to help with the posture there as well. Again, 3 more. So we've got 9 and 10. Okay, take the left leg back behind you and come to lie on the floor. We're going to reach the arms back behind us and clasp the hands together like we did when we were standing. If you're really struggling as we lay on the mat to hold the hands together, see if you can just hold on to that tea towel then instead, or your strip. So we're going to work the muscles in the glutes and the muscles in the lower back. Point the toes inwards and roll the heels out, so roughly in line with your hips. And then as you breathe in, we pull the shoulders back, lift the chest. Imagine someone was pulling your arms, your hands back behind you. Exhale, release. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders back, lift the chest. Exhale, release. So don't worry if you can't lift up very far. It isn't about how far we manage to take the chest up. It's about knowing we've got those glutes working and knowing we've got the muscles in the lower back working. So we're going to go 8, 9, and 10. Okay, release. We let the hands go. Push yourself back and we're going to come to a child's pose. So if you find that it's hard to get your hips back to your heels, take a little cushion or a block or something in between your hips and your heels, and just to allow the heels to relax back there. And you can also always make a little cushion with your head, with your hands, for your head, and give yourself a little bit of support that way. So just let the back stretch out. And then just roll yourself up. And then we're going to let the feet go. Swinging them around in front. And come to lie on your back. So we're going to take a little scissor work on our abdominal muscles. So it's really important that we're paying attention to using our core here, and also making sure that our lower back doesn't start to lift up off the floor. We've done our arch in our back with our swan dive a moment ago, where we were lifting the chest up and down from the floor. This time we want to think about almost pushing it down in towards the mat. So when you're ready, breathe out, squeeze your belly in, pressing the lower back down into the floor, and take your right heel up off the mat. And then squeeze the back in a little harder, bring your left heel up off the mat. So we're just going to start off with our basic scissor movement. So as you breathe out, you're going to tap one foot down, breathe in, lift, and then breathe out, tap the other foot down, breathe in, lift. So we're just scissoring through the legs. And if you feel quite strong here,
Then we can start to stretch out through the legs and scissor that way. So the legs don't have to come all the way towards the floor. It can just be a partial movement, halfway or maybe 2/3 of the way towards the mat, and then lifting. So what we're going to try and do then is add on a stretch through the hamstring. So as you take your right leg down towards the mat, see if you can pull your left leg in towards you, come back up, and then the other way. Pull the right leg in towards you as your left leg comes down. You can do this as one leg towards the floor with the knee bent, and then straightening it out as you come into the stretch. And if you're finding it's quite hard to reach around and grab, remember we've got that tea towel, and we can do exactly the same thing. As you breathe out, use your tea towel around the leg. Sometimes it's actually easier with something that you can control a little bit more. If you've got a long belt or scarf, it's hard to sometimes find the other end. Keep reaching out through the heels. We're going to try for 2 more to either side. And then sit up, release the legs rather. Take the feet down to the floor. Take a big stretch out from fingers to toes. You just stretch through those muscles in the belly. So you want to move the ribs and the pelvis away from each other. And then roll yourself up to sitting. Good. So we're going to come into our roll up, which gives us a hamstring stretch as well. So we're going to sit nice and tall. Relax your shoulders. And as you breathe out, see if you can press your belly and your chest down over the thighs. So don't worry about using any straps here unless you really want to. You can use your arms to pull you forwards because we're not actually worried about touching the toes. We want to work on that pulling of the belly and the chest down over the thighs. Breathe in and then breathe out. Tuck the tailbone under. Squeeze the belly in. Squeeze the core so it's belly button into the spine and up into the back of the rib cage. Roll yourself down to the floor. Big breath in, stretch the arms back, circle around with the arms, tucking the chin to the chest, and you peel yourself up off the floor as you're breathing out, and stretch towards your thighs again. Breathe in, breathe out. Squeeze the belly button in, using your core, your abdominal muscles for support as you roll down towards the floor. Breathe in, stretch the arms back. And then we're breathing out, circling the arms round, rolling ourselves up off the mat and stretching over our thighs. If you're finding it hard to come down up from the floor, you can come part way. So you can breathe out, roll back part way, squeeze the belly in so you've got all of those abdominal muscles working. Breathe in, hold it, and then breathe out, lengthen back up through the spine and fold forwards. As you breathe out, rolling back, squeeze the belly into the spine and up into the ribs, using those core muscles for support as you lower down. And then as you breathe out, we've got the whole of the abdominal muscles pulling the rib cage up, so squeeze the ribs down and towards your pelvis as you bring yourself up from the floor. I'm going to try for 2 more. finishing with that little fold over the legs. Just take an extra couple of breaths in. Good. And then sit yourself all the way back up. And we're going to take a nice big bend in the knees and bring your feet up nice and wide. So we've got a little bit of mobilization for around the lower back and the hips. So as you breathe out, roll the knees to the right. Try and keep the shin and the thigh parallel and take a little fold forwards over the leg. As you breathe in, push yourself all the way up, roll over to the left. Walk forwards, breathing in, hold. Breathe in, sit up, and then take it all the way back over to the right. So you might find you get perhaps a little stretch or feeling around the hips, maybe into that IT band. Maybe you notice something in the back. This can be quite a nice movement to just release some tension in the muscles all around that back and that hip area, particularly if you've been doing a lot of mileage. No worries if the legs don't come all the way down to the floor. If you're part way, just see how far you can bring yourself forwards. We're only ever doing what the body will let us. So we're going to do one more to either side. Sitting all the way up. And then we're going to take our legs out into a nice wide straddle. So we're going to have a little twist in this straddle position, coming into an exercise called the saw. And we want to try and feel a little stretch on the muscles on the inside of the leg whilst we're here, if we can. So sit up tall. If you find you're struggling with that seated position, then you can grab your cushion and just pop it underneath your hips, lifting the hips up that little bit higher. And if you need it, it's okay to have a little bend in the knees too. So when you're ready, we're going to breathe out, twist to the right. See if you can reach towards the right toes. Left arm stretches back behind you. Breathe in, sit all the way up, back to the center, and then breathe out, reach to the left. Breathe out, come over to the right side. Breathe into the middle, and then breathe out, take it over to the left side. So just following your breathing if you can. So you're reaching out as you breathe out, coming back in as you breathe in. And don't worry how far you come over the leg. Remember, it's about doing what we can. So it might be that you're only part way and you're reaching to your shin. Maybe it's even past the toes. Depending on how the legs are feeling and where you've got any tight spots. There might be different places that you notice it. Maybe it's on the insides of the thighs, abductors, or maybe we are looking, abductors, that's right. Maybe we're looking at feeling that stretch down the back of the legs. Maybe it's all over. Maybe we even notice something around the hips and the back, because obviously we are working through the back as we stretch forward here as well. We've got one more to the right and one more to the left. Come back up into the middle, find the backs of the knees and just bring the feet together. And we're going to roll back down towards the floor. So if you would like to take a cushion under your head for this one, you can, and we're just going to take a little bit of a stretch with our figure 4 stretch and a little exercise through the hips. So we're starting off by bringing the right shin, so it's never the foot, it's always the shin sort of around that ankle area, because that protects the ankle joint. That means that we actually get into the hip.
When you're ready, take the left leg up, just gently squeezing the belly down. So we've still got the support of the core. We're going to reach around and find the back of that left leg. Again, you've got that handy little T-tail there if you need it. And we're going to support the leg there. When you're ready, breathe out. Squeeze the knees in towards your chest. Breathe in, let it go. So breathe out, squeeze the knees in. Breathe in, let it go. So if you're finding it quite hard to get the head on the floor and you've got your head rolling back, that's when we want to bring that cushion in. Just keep our spine nice and long. Cushion in under the head. If the cushion makes you feel like you're tilting forwards, then obviously we can shift it out of the way. We're going to have one more so you can get that little bit deeper and just hold here just for a couple of breaths. And then release, take the foot down, swap sides, bring the left leg. So you've got the shin on the right thigh. Breathe out, take the legs up, reach round, find the back of the right leg again. Use your towel here. If you want, and maybe one side's a little easier than the other. Exhale, squeeze the knees in. Inhale, let it go. So breathe out, knees coming into the chest. Inhale, release. So working into that left hip bend now. Maybe we feel a little stretch in the back somewhere too. One more. Hold here. And then release the feet all the way down. Open the arms out, and we're just going to take a little twist from side to side. So breathe out, roll the knees to the right. Hold and breathe in, and then breathe out, roll the knees to the left. If you want, you can take your head the opposite way to the knees. So we're twisting through the whole of the spine. Once more over to the right side, hold it there, just take a couple of big breaths in here. See if you can relax your shoulders back into the floor, and if you find that it's hard to get the knees all the way down to the mat, just grab that cushion and support the knees, whether it's in between the knees or under both the knees. And then breathe out, roll the knees all the way over to the left. So again, if the knees are struggling to get all the way down towards the floor, we're going to do exactly the same thing there. Come back into the middle and hug the knees up in towards your chest. Have a little rock, maybe, or draw some circles with the knees in each direction. So just massage the back into the floor. And then we're going to roll round onto the side. Just come round onto your hands and knees. We're just going to finish with a couple of rounds of our cat stretch. Just to finish with a little bit more mobilization to the back. So breathing out, squeezing the belly in, rounding up. Breathing in, turning the tailbone up, drawing the shoulders back. Let's take one more rounding up. One more arch. And then we're going to find our way back to a standing position. So we're going to see if we can just tuck the toes under.
And then breathe out. Lift the hips up so you come into an A-frame or like a downward dog position. Just taking a little stretch through the legs and then bending the knees as much as you need to. Walk the hands back in towards your knees. Take a nice big bend in the knees when you get there, just allowing the head to hang for a brief moment. And then breathe out. Belly button into the spine, tuck the tailbone under, roll yourself all the way up. Coming up to standing. Breathe in, stretch the arms up. And then as you breathe out, release your hands back down by your side. Fab! Well done. Well, that has completed our Pilates for Runners workout. I hope you felt like you got a good stretch, but also managed to get some good core and strength work for the upper body in there too. If you did like the video, give it a thumbs up, leave any comments or questions below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so that I can see you on the mat again next time. All right, take care now. Bye.